Hello folks, Justin Horniker here. Just finished up the pre-match press conference with Josh Yaro and Olaf Melberg, talking about St. Louis City SC's match against the LAFC this Sunday. And it was an important presser because Xande Silva is here in St. Louis training with the team. That's an important piece that St. Louis added at the very end of the transfer deadline, along with the extension, the triggering of the buy option of Simon Betcher, I should say. Some definitive moves for St. Louis, and while I think some bigger moves will happen in the summer, Xande Silva can be an important piece. I think the important thing is that St. Louis did not give up much to bring him to St. Louis. He's on a high salary, but St. Louis have plenty of space and salary just for the rest of this season. So if they were to work out an extended deal, it could be for less salary. It could be for however many contract mechanisms and MLS you want to throw at it. But for his skill set, his ability to dribble with the ball, his ability to be a little bit selfish with the ball is good for St. Louis to have really, at this point, health-wise, have Celio Pompeo to be in that space. So it's an outlook that I think they've needed a player like this, maybe not as big of a splash as St. Louis fans would maybe want. I think that potentially comes this summer, but I would still not be too optimistic. I think Luis Pfannenstiel wants to see what this current group looks like on the field at the same time. And it's been tough with the injuries to really get a good idea of what that squad looks like. Now, if they get to the summer transfer window, they're still out of the playoffs. I think that creates a little bit more urgency than what we've seen so far. And I think wanting to give Olaf Melberg time with these first 10 games, wanting to give some patience to how the season has started, that patience does start to run thin. Something that we talked about with Olaf Melberg today is that there is a lot of confidence with this group, and Josh Yaro spoke about it as well with how they played against Columbus, against Vancouver. I talked about it in these videos over the past couple of weeks. But now you're on the road in LAFC. It's a tough environment to win as an away team, and while LAFC haven't been perfect, there have been some, they have stumbled, and last week in Portland needed a last stoppage time PK from Denny Bouanga, and we can debate on whether that was a PK or not to put them level on points. So it's an LAFC team that have not really hit their stride yet this year. Steve Cherundolo in the last year, he announced last week that he will not be coming back to LAFC. So some interesting dynamics there with LAFC, with the team that is very ambitious and maybe punching a little bit below its weight right now. Olivier Giroud gets his first goal in MLS last week. Does that continue on to this week? And, for St. Louis, it's just continuing to hopefully create more chances, still being defensively strong so that while you're not necessarily allowing more against, it's wanting to be more dynamic.